okay? And if you are in technology, it is very beneficial to know basic programming logic, because you can apply it to any kind of program. So, Replit. So it's repl.it. And you can create an account. You can create an account now or later. If you want to just watch me for now, that's fine. Okay. So once you are logged in, you'll see a page like this. So this website allows you to create programming environments so that you can write programs, test them, and debug them. Okay, so every time you start a new project, it spins up a little virtual machine that will run your code. So why don't we just take a look. It gets stored on their servers. I think you have a limited amount of storage space, but code is just text, so it doesn't take up all that much space. They have premium services, but we don't need those. So I'm going to click New REPL Project, and then we want JavaScript. But if you do JavaScript, that only gives you access to the console. So we'll go ahead and start with that for this class. So it's going to be a JavaScript project. It will generate a random name for you. So here it has generated a productive, realistic parameter. You can change that now, or you can change it later, or you can just leave it. I'm going to leave it for now. Okay. And then if you have an upgraded account, you can set it to private. Otherwise, it's public, so other people can view it and copy it. They can't change yours, but they can copy it and make their own copy. Okay. So once you create that, you get this screen, and this is basically all the access to the virtual machine that you need. So inside your browser, you're looking at just the basic parts of a computer. On the left, we have the file system. So right now, there's just one file called index.js. We can add new files. We can add folders to organize files. We can upload files. And then maybe if we want to download the whole project, if you do download a zip, it'll just download all the files and folders into a zip file for you. Okay. These other options, you can look at them, but I don't use them until the more advanced courses, so don't worry about that. One nice thing with Replit is you can run some example programs. So in the beginning, I know if you guys haven't programmed before, the hardest thing is learning the new vocabulary, because you're not just learning the meanings of words, you have to understand how to grammatically format them so that you're writing commands a computer can understand. So it's hard to create something in the beginning because you have such a limited vocabulary, so these examples are really nice. So if I click examples here, except the only problem is most of these are very complicated. This Hello World program, that's fine. This kind of introduces the first thing that we're going to be using to test our programs. Okay, right now I'm going to break down what this is into its different parts. Okay. This is the middle part here in the screen. This is where we write our code. Okay, so as I add more code, we'll have different lines. JavaScript is semicolon delimited, so that means at the end of each line you need to put a semicolon. Okay, it's not strictly enforced, so if you forget one, sometimes it'll still work. There are certain situations where you have to use one, so I would get in the habit of doing it. Okay, so at the end of each line of code, that each statement or command that you want to run, you need to make sure that you have a semicolon. Okay, so here the command is console, and we say dot, log, okay, hello world, okay, we have a bunch of symbols. If we run this, so we hit this button at the top, the code pops up over here, or I'm sorry, not the code, the output. Okay, so what happened? When I hit run, this virtual machine reads in this file, and it says, okay, run this one command, which is print out these characters to the screen. Okay, so that's why we have hello world down here. Now, later on, we'll break this down even further. There are a few pieces we can take a look at that we'll carry forward. We'll be using this a lot, so you'll just get used to it, and you just have to kind of take my word for it. What is console, what is log. Okay, I'll tell you now, but we'll go in more detail later. So the first thing I want to take a look at is, if you look at this line of code, let me see if I can zoom in here. It's color-coded. So the word console is black, log is purple, the double quotes, and hello world is red, or orange, or dark red, or something. Anyway, they're different. This is kind of telling you what the computer will see these as. So you can tell what things are based on the color. Okay, there's some other ways you can tell, but we'll talk about those later. So here, console, having a lowercase letter and being black, this is a variable. Okay, so we will be talking about those more today. All right, but this is actually a predefined variable that allows you to access the console, which will allow you to print characters to the screen. All right. This dot here allows us to access methods and functions of whatever is in console. So basically this says, I'm going to use computer, I want you to use the log function, the log command, which tells it to print to the screen. I want to use the log command of the console. All right, I'll be right back. So, sorry. To reiterate, we were talking about this line of code when we run it. So this is JavaScript code. And when we run this code, here's the output that we get. Okay, so I told you, this black part here, this is a variable. This purple part here, that's a function. And since there's a dot here, this is that means log is a function of console. So that means there is inside of the object, inside of console, there is a log function that tells the computer how to process what is in these parentheses. This is where you put the arguments, okay? And so I have to put the value in here in double quotes because it is a string value. It requires characters, basically, to print out, okay? If I put it in double quotes and it's read like this, that means it will take it'll be a string literal, so it'll be literally these characters, okay? And you have to be careful, too, because, uppercase and lowercase are different in a computer. That makes sense. This space actually counts as a character, so be aware of that, right? Okay, the double quotes won't, all right? If you want to put double quotes in a string, you have to use something special, and we'll talk about that in a second. So let's see if you can, if you're following along, you can try this. If not, you can just watch. I'm going to have it print out my name. Okay. So I put blank lines between my code so that you guys can read it easier. You wouldn't do that normally. There are actually a lot of rules about how to format your code. And most languages don't care, the computer doesn't care how you format it, but it's to help people read it. Okay, so I put a space between, but here it would be the same thing to the computer. What it is looking for is the semicolons. So if I do this, it will read this line of code until it hits a semicolon, okay? And then it will look for the next token, which would be console here, and then we go to the semicolon. All right, so see if you can get it to print out your name. All right, that's good, easy so far. Okay, so again, for now, you're going to have to just memorize this, console.log. Most things that I have you do, especially in this online course, there's not going to be any proctored exams or anything. I do prefer to have people do a lot of projects and practical exams. So the way that usually works is they're open note, practical exam is. I just expect you to, I give you a prompt and you have to write some code or fix some code or something, and then you just have the time limit. So you don't have to memorize a bunch of this stuff. You can also Google during the test. You can Google it. So the more languages you learn, they all have about the same functionality, but everything is named differently. So I stopped trying to memorize everything, and especially because we have Google now, you can just look it up as you need it. Okay. Okay. Now I was distracted. Oh yeah, that was the example we pulled from Replit. Okay, which is the first basic thing we need. We need three things. Okay, I'm going to show you something. In JavaScript, you can use 2 forward slashes to add a comment. Okay, I'm going to add some comments in here just to keep some terms so you can look at some of the terms. Okay, and so some of the stuff I've mentioned already, these are just good words to know or I've at least heard a few times. Okay, we have a string, literal, I mentioned that. I mentioned method, and variable. Okay, and variables are what I want to talk about next. All right. In this course, it's going to be a while before we get to the point where we're doing something useful. Okay. Until we get to the point where we are able to allow users to input information into the computer for processing and then spitting out the answer. Once you have those 3 steps, you can do a lot of things. Okay, and then you can just build off of that. So right now, what do we have? We only have the output part. Okay, so let's take a look at the processing part a little bit and this idea of variables. Okay, in your textbook, I believe, if it's the version I remember, the code examples are gonna have your variables declared with this keyword. Now, if you notice when I typed that, it turned blue. Blue words are keywords that do something special. So what this does is it tells JavaScript to create a container to hold a value. Okay, and you have to give it a name. But anyway, the reason I'm showing you this is it's honestly for this class, I don't really care how you do it because it doesn't really make sense probably at this point until you learn more about programming and why there's a difference. Anyway, there's different ways you can declare a variable in JavaScript. One is using var, and then you hit space, and you have to give it a name. Okay, and so you could give it a really long name, like my variable, or you can give it a short name like x. Okay, there's benefits to having short variable names, and there's benefits to having long ones. You want to make sure people understand what your well, you need to be able to remember what your variable is. Okay, so in this case, I'm just going to keep it as x because I'm just going to store some numbers in there to mess around and show you operators here in a bit. Okay. All right, so this code here is declaring a variable of x. It's an empty container that contains nothing. Okay. You can also initialize a variable when you declare it by using the equal sign. Okay. The equal sign in JavaScript is the assignment operator. equals sign. Assignment operator. Okay. It's a very useful operator. Okay. So I can assign any value I want into that container, and the computer will remember it for me, and I can reference it later. So let's put a 1 in there. Okay, and if I just put 1 here, it turns green. That means it's a integer literal. So it will store the value 1 in X. It won't store the character 1, it'll store the value. We'll make a bigger deal about data types later. I'll put a little note here. Data types. We'll run into some issues with that right away, and we'll get it figured out. Okay, so this creates a variable called X, gives it a value of 1. Okay, now what can I do with that variable? Well, I can print it out to the screen. How would I do that? I would do console.log. What would I put in here if I wanted to print out the X variable? Well, I just put in the variable name. Do I need to put double quotes around it? No, because it's not a string, it's a variable. Okay, so strings are a collection of characters surrounded by double quotes. Integers are just whole numbers. Okay, and here if we put the variable in as the argument of the log function, okay, if you haven't looked at the homework yet, it's much simpler than everything I'm going into. I'm going into a lot more detail here than you'll need for the homework, but you'll need the basics of this, so don't freak out if this is sounding complicated. Okay, it's kind of like immersion. If you're taking like a Spanish class, they stop speaking English after like the 3rd day, so we're just jumping in right away. You can definitely ask me if you're having any problems. Definitely talk to me. I have some previous students who might be able to do some online tutoring. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Anyway, what will it print out? If you guessed 1, you are correct. So I can print out 1 here because that's what I stored in here. All right. What else can I do with variables? I can change them. So I could put after this X equals 2. Now remember, so this is the letter X. Here's an equal sign. Here's the number 2, semicolon. That's the end of the statement. Okay. 1 equal sign. What is that? That's the assignment operator. Okay. So this isn't saying that X is equal to 2. What this literally means is we're going to take everything on the right side of the equal sign, okay, and we're going to store that inside of X. So we're putting 2 inside of X. Okay, now if we run it, what will print out? Well, we'll declare the variable of X here. So the first time we want to use it, we have to declare it. Then we're going to initialize it by putting a value in there, so it now has 1 in there. And then we're putting 2 in there. Okay, what is going to happen to that variable? We have a 1 in there, and we're putting a 2 in there. Okay, variables only hold 1 value, and that's a little misleading because there are values that can hold other values, and we'll see that later. But the point here is when I put a 2 in X here, the 1 goes away. It's lost forever. Okay, so you can overwrite the values in a variable. That's why it shows just the 2 gets printed out, not the 1. It's gone now. Okay, let's declare another variable just for an example. Let's make a variable called Y. We'll set it to 3. All right. And let's copy and paste in this class as your friend, unless you're a really fast typer. Well, the lines of code get really long. And so it's easy to make typos, so copying and pasting is good. You'll have to check your errors a lot. Okay, anyway, I'm going to print out X. I want to print out Y. Okay, so there's the 2, there's the 3. Now, what if I do this? X equals X plus Y. Okay, so we have this equal sign is the assignment operator. The plus sign, luckily that's the same as it's always been. That's the addition operator. So let's take a look at this line here. So I guess I pushed it down to line 16. Okay. X equals X plus Y. What the computer will take this as is whatever the value is in X, you're going to add that to the value in Y. Okay. And then you're going to store that back into X, overriding the original value. So X is 2, Y is 3. What will X be if you add those two together? 5, right? 2 plus 3 is 5. Okay, so we can use these operators to manipulate the values. Okay, we have all the arithmetic operators that you probably are familiar with, hopefully. I don't know. So we have plus for addition, subtraction. Asterisk is for multiplication. Okay, and division is a forward slash. So these are the arithmetic operators. I'll take these commas out of here so it's easier to see. Whoops. Let's push this down. I'll show you another trick here. You can use something called a block comment to comment out a section. So here I've got a block comment starting here, forward slash asterisk, ending block comment, asterisk, forward slash. And then here are the different arithmetic operators. Okay. Plus, minus, multiply, divide. Okay. We'll learn a lot of different operators in this class. The other one that you've learned so far, remember, that's the assignment operator, equal sign. Okay, and then the arithmetic. And then the other important thing so far is how do we output our results to the screen. Okay, now here the console.log, as far as I'm aware, we can double check, only takes one argument, so it only takes one value. In JavaScript, you can use an expression. As long as that expression evaluates into a single value, you can use an expression as a value. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this console.log. I'll show you another trick. I only want line 24 to run. I don't want line 25. So I could delete it, but then if I want that back, I would have to, re-add it, and I might not remember it was there. What you can do is you can just comment out the line. That essentially just turns off that line. It's a really good debugging technique, so you can test out just certain parts of your code. All right. So what do you guys think will print out if I put X plus Y? Let's try it. 13. Okay, so it is 2, but down here X becomes what? 5, so it's 5, 5, and 3, which equals 13. All right, so there's some basic stuff about, output, variables. Let's see if there's any questions yet here. Oh, do we have to do this on the virtual machine? You do not. All the tools that I use are going to be web-based, so you can use your own machine. I do use Google Chrome for everything, so everything that I ask you to use will work on Google Chrome. If you use Firefox or Edge, that's totally fine, but if one of the things I ask you to do doesn't work on there, you might have to try it on Chrome. So I would download that, but I'm not forcing you to use it. except for you might have to use it for some of the assignments. I highly doubt it though, unless you use Edge. That might. If you need help getting any of that, you can let me know. Okay. I think I'll hang out here maybe for a few more minutes. So if anyone has any questions, I'll answer those. If you need to go back and watch this again, I think it'll be the same link. Okay. I was hoping I could use this video again, but since I kept getting interrupted by that guy, probably, and I don't want to edit it. Don't want to edit the video. Okay. Some of you guys have emailed me already asking about different things for the course, so do keep emailing me if you have questions. I'll put some due dates up eventually. Right now there is only one due date right now until I put more on there, and that is the last day of class. You need to have everything that's worth points done by the end of the class. So you can start working on it now, but like I said, the assignments won't be due until at least a week out from when I post them. Though I might put like 2 chapters together in the beginning since we've already started quite a while ago. Has anyone tried any of the homework? I think there were some assignments posted about oh, I got another question here. We'll be doing this weekly. Yes, we'll be doing this weekly. If you weren't here at the beginning, I'll be doing this every week, but I'm not going to take attendance. It will be recorded, so you can watch it later. But, you know, if you want to be here while I'm doing it live, I can answer your questions. So it's up to you. I'm not going to force you, because you can always watch it later. And if there's anything that you like that I'm doing, please tell me. If there's anything that you hate about what I'm doing, you know, like something if something's distracting, like a noise or something behind me going on, let me know. I try to periodically look at the chat just in case something goes wrong, like the audio stops or something. My mouth is so dry. Oh, I was saying, if you started the homework at all, there were some assignments related to pseudocode. I find that using pseudocode right at the beginning of learning programming is a bad idea, because it's like trying to write blueprints when you don't know how, you know, like how to measure anything, or what you're trying. You don't even know what you're trying to build. Okay, we're going to learn the code first, and then we'll probably just talk about pseudocode. The point of pseudocode is to basically make a blueprint. It is a valuable thing to know. More towards the end of your degree, maybe when you're doing an internship, doing an interview for an internship or doing an interview for a job, a lot of times they'll ask you to solve a critical thinking problem or a programming problem, and sometimes they'll ask you to do it in a certain language. I feel like rarely does that happen, because nobody memorizes syntax anymore. But anyway, you can use pseudocode to write, you know, an example of a working algorithm. So we'll take a look at that at some point once you understand what we're even doing with this. Okay. This is where the class will technically meet. I'm interested to hear if any of you guys have been are in or have been in a class already that uses Zoom, and if it's been a nightmare so far, or how that goes. I'm trying to on these videos. I'm just going to ramble here. So if you don't have any more questions or you want to go, you can go. But I'm just going to ramble a bit here. I think the class is technically to 2:15, but I doubt I won't talk that long. I'll just show you a demo and then just answer questions, because I'm not going to make you listen to me talk for an hour. Some of you guys are going to pick this stuff up really quick. Some of you guys it's going to take a while, and then some of you guys are going to realize that this is not what you want to do. That's totally fine. Oh, Braden, I was asking about if you're in a class with Zoom, just is it loud and is the class organized? I'm using this just so you know, I don't know. You guys don't have to be on video or talk. If you ever want to talk in person, we can totally do a Zoom call. I just figured I'd do this for the classes because it's on YouTube. I can maybe reuse these. This one I don't think I can reuse. Maybe I can cut out the middle part. Yeah, if you guys have any questions at all related to programming, web development, this class, future classes, because I'm the programming and web technology advisor now, so I'll be your advisor. I can talk, advise you if you want. Okay. How do you guys feel about this? Is everyone okay with doing it this way? I like keeping a record of the questions here, so I don't have to rewatch. I can just see the chat. Okay, cool. Well, you speak for everyone then, because no one else is talking. I kind of like this because I usually don't get to communicate with my online students. Hopefully you guys will get more comfortable. I don't know what your guys' programming knowledge is or whatever, but if you losing my train of thought here. Okay, I lost my train of thought. Oh, why? What's the problem, Wyatt? Give me more details, because I could probably fix it. Because I want it to be as simple as possible. Oh, let's see. Chapter 1, HOA. I do, let's see. I don't have a class until 2:30, so we have plenty of time. Okay. HOA 1.3. Oh yeah, I just forgot to turn that off. Okay, I'm gonna turn that off. maybe. Or you have to refresh. A lot of this stuff happened at the last minute, and with COVID, that's why this is kind of a mess, but I'll get it cleaned up eventually. As long as you guys have something to work on, and we're progressing through the topics. Man, what is wrong with this? Okay, I can set it as public. Okay, here we go. Okay, what was it here before? Oh, here we go. Public. There we go. Let me know if that helps. I guess because I guess I really don't care if other people show up. So. Oh, sorry about the labeling thing. Were you using Alex? Were you using Notepad or Notepad++, or what? Is that where you were using for your assignments? Like, did you make it into a file? I can just give you the short answer. Angie's the one that has those labeling rules. You can label it anything is fine for me, because when you submit it, I'll know who did it. So, or I'll know which one it is. Trying to see assignments. Wait, what am I looking for? Yeah. Okay. Chapter. Oh, it's still not letting me shut this off. Oh, and then I tried to go to this. Oh, I am in assignments. Okay. So easily distracted. It's hard to focus. Okay. Can't unpublish. Oh, if there are student submissions. Okay. Well, if you want to do it, you can do it. If not, yeah, you don't have to do it. Here, I can rename it to optional. If you already did it, then sorry, but it'll definitely weigh in if there's anything you need. Sorry. It's not, even just looking at the prompt is valuable experience. I know you guys are probably used to such a grade focused course, because that's how everyone does it. You know, oh, how many points did I get on this? How many points did I get on that? I'm trying to make these programs to where you guys can get a job after 2 years. So I'm trying to make everything hands-on and the exam's practical. And my grading is extremely loose in that regard. So whoop, don't look at that. Take the grades in Canvas. They're very liquid at all times. I change them all the time. But it really doesn't matter till the end. So if you did everything and it didn't have any problems, you're fine, because the test is literally going to be demonstrating that you know what to do. So if you don't pass that test, then you probably need to practice more, is all. So I'll go over very specifically what will be on the test. And like I said, it'll be OpenNote, Open Internet, and it'll be just a little program I'll ask you to write. And it's fun for me to come up with something that you can't just Google. Like if I'm like, write a program that calculates all the calculates like the first 1,000 prime numbers, you could probably Google that right now and find that program in every language. So I have to come up with something something that doesn't make any sense and is fairly just so out there. So, okay, am I missing any chats? Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, whatever. Oh crap. Whatever. I'll probably just see like what everybody gets done by the time I fix everything, and then up to that point will be, you know, probably a completion grade or just a lump before I'm going to come up with some different projects here. So yeah, the HOAs, don't worry about chapter 1. Basically just skip over any assignments for chapter 1, except the multiple choice. Definitely do that. It won't let me turn this off, but that's fine. But the chapter 2 stuff, definitely take a look at. And did she put the PowerPoints on here? They might be in the files. I should have been using those. Alex, did I answer your question about the HOA assignments? If you guys, I don't know if, I assume you set this time aside. If you want to work on this right now, I'll just be setting up for my next class, so you can send me an email, or I'll just leave this open if you have any questions. So. Oh, you guys don't have access to files. Okay. Yeah, she probably didn't put the PowerPoints on here then. Wait, here, what are these? Oh, there they are. I can just put those right in here. That's weird. Anyway, the point was, when you look at the chapter 2 exercise or exercises, look back in the chapter 2 chapter and or in the PowerPoints, because a lot of times you'll find working examples of code that you can kind of reverse engineer into trying to get whatever the assignment wants. Okay, and I know this feels a little bit like sink or swim here in the beginning, but just give it an honest try, and then we'll go, you know, if it comes down to it and you just really can't figure it out, just let me know, You can just send me an email. I won't call you out, and then we'll just go over it during one of the live streams, or I could even do it as a separate video and then just post it for you guys. So if you do get stuck, oh, speaking of getting stuck, please, please, please do not, if you spend like more than 30 minutes or 1 hour on trying to solve a problem, please take a break. If you spend like 3 to 8 hours on one problem, please don't do that. Please contact me as soon as it starts to take too long so I can help you out. Not all of this stuff is intuitive, and you can't always find the exact answer you're looking for, so please do ask me. It's really easy to miss just like a little thing, so it's really important here in the beginning when you're learning the basics to get all that stuff down. Though I will admit, there's still things that I'm learning, even some basic things, honestly, but you're always constantly learning this stuff, and it's constantly changing. Oh, the PowerPoint video lectures are in important info. Okay, thank you, Stephen. Oh, okay, PowerPoint video lectures. I see it. Okay, cool. Awesome. I turned off attendance. I don't know. I have to like watch what I say because this is being recorded. Oh, for the Chapter 2 assignments, I was going to take a look here. Does it want you to upload a file? Oh, text entry box or file upload. Okay, so the other thing with Replit that I was going to show you is how awesome it is you could share these. So here's my account, username jmunger, / here's the name of the project. I can just copy this URL and then paste it, and if anyone clicks on it, it'll go to this program and they can run it and manipulate it and stuff. It doesn't change mine if they change it. It'll copy it into their own account, but this is basically how this is how I would like you to turn your homework in. If you've already turned in some other homework as files, totally fine. I'll just take a look at it. But if you turn it in this way, it's much easier for me to test if it works, debug it, and give you feedback because I can add in comments and things to kind of help you figure it out. Okay, so if you go to, they usually give you a student view option in here. Maybe it's out here. There it is. If you've used Canvas before, you'll probably know how to submit things. But if you haven't, or if you forgot, let's go down. So here's the assignment. There's more on mine because I turned a bunch off. Here we go. Total customers, Chapter 2. So let's say, I went to page 63. I read the program 2.3. I did whatever it said. I'm ready to submit. Oh, now it took me out of student view. Huh. Anyway, you just hit submit and it'll pop up a text box and a file submission box. And so if you're using Replit, which is what I prefer, and it's easier, you just copy the link into the text box, and then you can submit that, and then I'll be able to look at it. Okay, I'm in student view. Is this what it looks like for you guys? Is there anything even in here? Why is it not showing anything? Oh, there it is. Okay. So chapter 2. So let's say I finished it. This is a pet peeve of mine because I also teach web design and web development courses, but most people, you know, you're going to read this and you're going to read down this way, right? And then it's done, right? No, the button is over here. Who looks over here, right? Okay, anyway, submit. You can, if you have the files, you can upload them, the text files, or technically they're JS files. Anyway, I don't even know how you would test that unless the book told you how to do it in the browser. So I would go to text entry. I have copied my Replit link, and I paste it in there, and then that's how you would submit it. Okay, boom, and then I can go in. Whoa. Why were there shamrocks and confetti? That was weird. I wonder if I can control that in settings. Okay, anyway, let's see if you guys said anything else. Da-da-da-da. Okay. So, anyway, we're at 2:14, so I'm going to go set up for the next course. If you need anything, email me. I probably won't get to it for an hour or so after the course. But if you need anything until the next time we meet up, just let me know. All right, thank you guys. Have a good day, and I will see you again next week.